Okay, I hope you all are doing pretty good, doing well. And in this video, I'm going to talk about an interview I saw on TV. Um, the host is Amy Rutledge from Daytime Chicago, and she interviewed a Chicago attorney named Sam Adams. And the only reason I listened to this was because I usually don't watch those daytime shows. I'm usually busy during that time. But the only reason I listened to this was because something that the attorney, Sam Adams, mentioned that was pertinent to what I've done for the last 42 years with chiropractic patients, especially those who had motor vehicle traffic accidents. He said, go to the hospital. Now, most attorneys will advertise how much money you can receive, remuneration. That is not the issue. Your health is the issue. And the monies received that are recovered from injury or loss is second. And Sam Adams, attorney Sam Adams, made a very important point, something I've been trying to get over to our patients for 42 years. And what he said that got my attention was that if you're in a motor vehicle traffic accident, whether it's you're at fault or someone else at fault, go to the hospital or get transport to the hospital. Why? Because the adrenaline is very high during that time. You may not feel any discomfort, any pain. You don't know if you have a hairline fracture or not. So there's some medical issues that are at stake here. So it's important that you have this checked out. When you go to the hospital, they automatically will do imaging, x-rays, if necessary, CT scans, MRI, if they deem it necessary upon examination, depending on your presentation. But that's the most important thing he said during that interview as it relates to chiropractic and probably other disciplines. But with what I have done for patients in a motor vehicle traffic accidents, they have injuries, and not everybody will respond at that moment. That's why they give you, with insurance, you have up to 2 years to file a claim, because you may not feel anything for the first 72 hours, 2 weeks, a month. I currently have a patient right now who is in a traffic accident, came to the office for a visit for another condition. On the way, they had a traffic accident. I said, oh no, you have to go to the ER to be checked out. No, I don't want that. So 3 years later, now we have pain, and we don't know where the pain is coming from. And if I hadn't looked at the notes, I would not have, where I documented that the patient refused to go to the hospital. And I'm going to talk about two things as it relates to seniors and religious people that are very religious. Don't have anything against religion, but there's a certain science involved here. And then when you start to have problems, whoever you pray to is not helping you. They helped you when they directed you to the right source of help. So we have a patient now, and I'll get back to the very beginning of this topic, who was in a motor vehicle traffic accident 3 years ago, and now they're having pain. And like I said, I looked at the notes and started going, I said, now why is this patient having pain in this area here? They were involved in an accident. They was the one that refused treatment. See, so refused examination, refused treatment. And it wasn't an issue of cost or insurance here. Patient didn't believe in that. But your belief sometimes can get the best of you. So this is what I was talking about. So here, he mentioned, go to the hospital, get the imaging. This is what happens, okay? They're going to do a full, extensive examination. It might be a regional examination, depending on the nature of your visit and your presentation. But it lets me know, and it lets you know, basically, where you are as far as the injury is concerned. Now, whether or not you feel pain at that moment, that's not the point. At some point in time, you will feel the discomfort and the trauma of the accident. All it takes is an 8-mile-an-hour bump say, a rear end collision, where you have hyperextension going back, hyperflexion, the recoil, and you have injury, tissue damage to the muscles in the neck. You may have thoracic pain in the middle of the back or lumbar pain. You may develop what we call radiculopathy, where the pain travels from the neck down the shoulder, into the arm, forearm, into the hands and fingers. I'm going to talk about I got my hand up here because I want to show you. I'm going to talk about one of the examinations that we do is the use of a dynamometer. Okay. And here we have the patient squeeze. Okay. I want to find out the pounds per square inch that you can squeeze, because what happens in many cases, the damage in your neck will cause you to have numbness, tingling, some kind of discomfort in your fingers, or in your all fingers, in your hand, loss of strength. That's the purpose of the dynamometer, is to check out the muscle strength, your grip strength. So getting back to attorney Sam Adams, it led me to kind of go through just a very basic thing I've gone through with all our patients who are involved in personal injury situations that involve a vehicle. It could be a fall from a bicycle, same thing. There's tissue damage at the trauma site, right in here. You have tissue damage, and then you get the release of toxic chemicals. So it's a process that your body goes through, electrical impulses that are transmitted during that period of time. And then they go back and forth. They go back from the site of the injury to the nervous system, the spine. And then what happens is that your body's going to react at some point in time with a spasm or some sort of weakness, which is why we want to find out your grip strength, then pain. And then there are other things that may occur. So that's why we do the examination. Second to the examination that you should have received at the hospital. So attorney Sam Adams made the primary and excellent point, and this is something that I stress to patients. As a matter of fact, I'm still working with patients in this area. I will not accept a patient's case unless they've received care, an initial workup in the hospital. So, and then once so say the patient goes to the hospital, and then they bring all the information to us. They may be on medication, pain medication. They may not be on pain medication yet. Either way, we take that patient through 3 phases of healing. So the healing occurs in 3 phases. You're in pain. That's the acute inflammatory phase. That's the first 72 hours. We're icing. We may be using cold packs. So we're talking about the reaction phase. That's the first step. Then the second step is the regeneration phase. Here's where we want to try to reduce that inflammation that sets in. Inflammation is good the first 72 hours. That is the inflammation, that what we call good inflammation, because you have the exchange of certain natural chemicals at that site of injury that help to remove some of the debris that builds up that cause the swelling or the inflammation. So this is a good form of inflammation, but it subsides. And usually that lasts up to about 6 weeks. Okay, so now this is after the first 72 hours of the acute inflammatory phase. Usually the pain will go away within those 6 weeks. And here's where we lose the patient. During the third phase, which is the remodeling phase, that may last anywhere between 4 to 6 months. When the patient is out of pain, they no longer want to receive care. They feel like they are 100% better, and that's so far from the truth. 10 years later, I've been around the block a while. Excuse me. This patient will come back and point to the same site of injury 10 years previous to their current visit. And this is where they had pain. I'll look and check the notes. They did not go through the remodeling phase. And so this is where arthritis, which, some of the arthritis could be autoimmune, like rheumatoid, but this is not rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, this is arthritis as a result of the bone and the tissue surrounding the bone is deteriorating, and it's due to injury. So that's the whole purpose of going through those three phases, that we want to prevent down the road the formation of any arthritic changes that may occur. It's possible that you may get spinal stenosis. Some of this occurs from trauma to the area. So what is the first thing the patient will develop? A cervical sprain, strain. If it's, since we just focus on neck, not the lower back or mid back, cervical sprain and strain. Okay, so you get a sprain, that's the ligaments. You get a strain, the muscle strain. And so here's where we go in with the chiropractic care, which is mobilization. So with the use of mobilization or manipulation versus medication, that'll allow for the greatest resolution of injuries. That's going to bring you back to full range of motion and get you back to pre-accident status. See, so that's the important thing. And this is how you prevent arthritic changes from occurring. Go through all three phases. So that's very important. Now, scar tissue, sometimes that will develop. And so when we take that patient through all three phases, we recommend that you come in for follow-up care, maybe once a month, once every other month, once every third month, just to follow up. See, so it's not something that's like a light switch. You turn the switch on, that's the care, the injury, then we turn it off. No, this stays on the rest of your life. You should want to do that. And I'm going to talk about, I'm getting more involved in senior care because I'm in that age group with your seniors where 70 to 80 are the years of people transition. All of the signs that you see in your 40s and 50s and possibly 60s, now they begin to show themselves. Your genetics will show themselves. Your environmental changes that take place over the years, the last, say, 40, 50 years will take place. They'll start to show themselves. And between 70 and 80, you'll find out that the parts wear out. You're worn out. See, and depending on how you lived, meaning did you take care of your body from teenage years? Did you do that? If you didn't, and you live according to the American dream, which is the standard American diet, some smoking, drinking, some recreational drug use, lack of exercise. Look at the women. At one point in time, your uniform in an office setting was, 3-4 inch pump, and you had to wear that. You shorten the Achilles tendon. You'd be shocked at how many women retire and end up with a ruptured Achilles tendon because now they wear flats, and they think they can move out like they did when they was in the pumps, and you can't do it. You will have a tear of the Achilles tendon. So there are all sorts of things that begin to show themselves between 70 and 80. So the goal is to be able to get you through this 10-year period. And then the ones that we see, our patients who are 80s to 90s, 90s to 100, 100 and forward, everybody didn't follow the same pattern of living. You have some patients who do exactly what they want to do. It's not the things that we would recommend that they do, and they're the centenarians. We have other patients who really take care of themselves, and they have a certain specific diet. The older those patients are, the centenarians, a lot of them missed the fast food era. They don't eat fast foods. They never ate fast foods. So they don't know what that is. They will still go out. Cooking is not something that they want to do, or maybe they have a cook, but they have a specific way of eating. And where they run into trouble is at restaurants, because they may want to find a restaurant that does some semblance of home cooking. And in doing this, they're not aware that they put preservatives and things that they don't use when they prepare their own meals at home. They're not aware of this. And so they begin to pick up some of the things that our younger patients in their 70s have. Some of them take medication. A lot of them take a lot of herbs. But a lot of them work with their bodies. They notice that they had to work with their bodies from 70 to 80 almost daily, which include rest. Now, a lot of them do not have health club memberships. They don't go to health clubs. They walk. They do simple things. They move. So that's why I want to talk about the dynamometer, because, and this is going to be part 2 to this. I'm going to talk about that because you'll find out that keeping your muscle strength is extremely important. I can tell basically when I shake your hand, how you grip my hand, whether or not I want to take the or administer the dynamometer test. Now, although it's more relegated to people who have motor vehicle traffic accidents, I begin to use that in patients. If I shake your hand and I feel a very, a certain weakness, there's no strength in the hand, I'm going to check it. And I'll tell you in the next video the significance of that and what that means. So the importance of this video here is to get you to go to the hospital if you're involved in a motor vehicle traffic accident. You can probably look that up on, what was the program? It was called Daytime Chicago, Amy Rutledge interview with Sam Adams. I'll put that in the description, that information, and see that interview. They talk about a lot of things, but the main and important thing that I related to was the fact that he mentioned that before we get into litigation and the things that the attorney does, you go to the hospital. You go to the emergency room. If you don't do anything but go to urgent care, urgent care will send you to the emergency room, but maybe they have enough at urgent care to at least get the imaging done. I need that information, and then we can proceed with care. Okay, so part 2 of this is going to be on that machine or unit that I use for checking your grip strength. You'll see the importance of that more than just dealing with injury. Okay, best in health.